ESPN. It's really funny to me what they're trying to do. You know, we talk about ESPN here all the time because they're so ridiculous. And as the, quote, antidote.
This is the topic that's been making waves in the sports media world. ESPN's new show, Vibe Check, and its connection to the ongoing Caitlin Clark controversy. ESPN recently announced a new female-led sports show called Vibe Check, set to premiere exclusively on Disney Plus in June 2025. The show will be hosted by Elle Duncan, Andraya Carter, and Chiney Ogwumike. According to ESPN, it aims to provide a powerful platform for their female talent. However, all three hosts have previously made critical or controversial comments about WNBA star Caitlin Clark. Today, we'll examine the facts behind this situation, the controversy surrounding ESPN's new show, and what it all means for sports media coverage. Before delving into the controversy, let's understand why Caitlin Clark has become such a central figure in women's basketball. Clark concluded her college career at Iowa as the NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer with 3,151 points, surpassing both women's and men's records. Her final college season garnered unprecedented attention for women's basketball, with Iowa's Final Four semifinal against South Carolina becoming the most-watched women's college basketball game ever, drawing 14.2 million viewers. Selected first overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever, Clark's entry into the league significantly boosted viewership. The WNBA reported a 170% increase in average viewership for the 2024 season compared to the previous year, with the season opener drawing 2.1 million viewers, the most-watched WNBA game on ESPN in 23 years. Clark's impact extended beyond viewership. The Indiana Fever's home and road games combined attracted a record-breaking 643,343 fans over 40 games, surpassing the next team by over 200,000. Her popularity also led to a surge in merchandise sales, with her jersey becoming one of the top sellers in the league. Despite these achievements, Clark has found herself at the center of numerous controversies in sports media. According to ESPN's press release, the show will provide a powerful platform for the brilliant women of ESPN and allow these hosts to bring their unique insights to the forefront in an even more impactful way for Disney subscribers. The announcement was made by Burke Magnus, ESPN's president of content, who stated, "The voices that will be leading the program have long been shaping the sports landscape. Now they'll have this additional platform to bring their unique insights to the forefront in an even more impactful way for Disney subscribers." It's ironic. ESPN markets Vibe Check as a response to woke sports media, yet the show and its hosts are the embodiment of what many call woke ESPN. The white executives in ESPN's Building 4 are so scared of accusations of racism, they prioritize diversity optics over actual sports knowledge. Elle Duncan, Andraya Carter, and Chiney Ogwumike are the show's Vibe hosts. They're described as cool, woke, and outspoken on social issues, but sports? Not so much. Chiney Ogwumike, a respected former WNBA player and current ESPN analyst, has had a complicated history with Caitlin Clark. Early on, Ogwumike was openly critical of Clark, questioning her style of play and personality in ways that some fans interpreted as dismissive or even hostile. However, over time, as Clark's on-court dominance became undeniable and her popularity soared, Ogwumike's tone noticeably shifted. Today, Ogwumike acknowledges Clark's talent and influence in women's basketball, often praising her skills and impact during ESPN coverage.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case.
This reversal highlights the complex and sometimes contradictory dynamics within ESPN's coverage of female athletes, reflecting broader tensions between criticism, fandom, and the evolving recognition of Clark's star power. Stephen A. Smith sparked a wildfire of controversy with his hot take on Cooper Flagg, the young basketball phenom. During his segment, Stephen A. questioned Flagg's ability to handle the pressure of being a top recruit, but his comments crossed a dangerous line.
When you've got somebody with that kind of potential, and they're white, and you are in America, you keep that, dude. You keep it. I'm telling you right now, with my black self, I'm the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. I ain't thinking about drafting somebody else. I'm not thinking about moving Cooper Flagg. I'm grabbing Cooper Flagg. He's the number 1 overall pick. I mean, just think about the marketing. Do you know I saw some commercial? I forgot whether it was a commercial, an endorsement deal, or whatever. Do you know he had the American flag behind him? Just think about that. Think about the marketability. I'm not talking about just keeping him because he's white. I'm saying the brother can play. He's a special talent. And then when you think about it, they just let go of Luka. So you can't let go. And let's call it what it is. Jerry Jones taught me this. This is what I learned from him. When I say this kind of stuff, I get this kind of stuff from Jerry Jones. When I say, we're talking about Texas. That's Jerry Jones right there. That's what Jerry Jones reminded me. This is Texas. It's a little bit different. True story. This actually happened. I'm in Austin, Texas last year, South by Southwest. I'm in my hotel room. I've never seen this happen in my life. I'm watching an episode of Martin. Martin Lawrence, great comedic genius that he is. And in the middle of the episode, the program gets interrupted so they can air the national anthem with the American flag on the screen. I've never seen that happen in my life. It was on television. That's what happened, okay? Texas is different. And in Dallas, Texas, if you got an opportunity to get Cooper Flagg, you take Cooper Flagg, especially when you just let go.
Many viewers called out the racial undertones in his analysis, suggesting that he doubted Flagg's work ethic and maturity in a way that felt rooted in stereotypes about black athletes. Social media blew up with critics accusing Stephen A. of unconscious bias, and even some fellow sports analysts weighed in, urging him to rethink how he frames young black talents. This wasn't just about a sports opinion. It touched on a broader conversation about race, media narratives, and how quickly promising athletes of color get unfairly scrutinized. The backlash forced ESPN to issue a statement distancing themselves from the comments, but the damage was done. This moment reignited the debate about race and media bias in sports commentary, reminding everyone that words on air have real impact. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne caught serious heat from NBA star Aaron Gordon. It all started when Shelburne reported on Gordon's trade situation, framing it in a way that many fans and Gordon himself found misleading and one-sided.
I don't feel like talking about the game. Earlier, I caught wind of an article that came out about Russell Westbrook and in our locker room after Game 2, which was a completely arbitrary article and pointless and unnecessary by whoever it was that put it out. Russ is one of the most talented basketball players that has ever played the game of basketball. And quite frankly, he's been great for us all year long. We're brothers. We spend more time with our team than we do with our family. Of course, there's going to be disagreements, but that conversation wasn't for anybody other than our own group and the internal workings of our locker room. So that article is just so arbitrary and so far from the truth. Russ has been amazing for us. And not only is he a great basketball player, but he's an even better human being. And he's going to continue to be great for us, and he's going to make a huge impact, and he's going to help us win these next 2 games. And that's all I got to say, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Aaron didn't hold back on social media, calling out Shelburne for what he described as clickbait narratives that don't tell the full story of his career and contributions. Fans rallied behind Gordon, accusing the media of spinning narratives that hurt players' reputations unnecessarily. This incident highlighted the growing tension between athletes and reporters, especially as players increasingly use social platforms to fight back against what they see as unfair or lazy coverage. The back and forth became a flashpoint about media responsibility and how narratives can influence public perception and player morale. Former MLB pitcher Trevor Bauer throws down a serious challenge for Major League Baseball. After his controversial suspension and subsequent legal battles, Bauer has been outspoken about what he sees as systemic problems in the league's handling of discipline and player rights. The controversial former MLB pitcher spoke out on social media on Wednesday, one day after the late Rose was reinstated, continuing his crusade against the league he claims is blackballing him. So, since Pete is welcome back now, does that go for everyone who has been blackballed? Bauer wrote on X. Or do you actually have to be guilty of something to qualify for that? His pointed question, where is the consistency and fairness in MLB's approach? Bauer's argument centers on the idea that MLB applies rules and punishments unevenly, often swayed by public opinion or political pressure rather than facts. He calls for transparent investigations and equal treatment for all players, no exceptions. The 34-year-old questioned MLB. So, since Pete is welcome back now, does that apply to everyone who has been blackballed? Or do you really have to be guilty of something to qualify for that? Bauer was never charged with a crime, as the person who accused him sought a restraining order against him, which was later denied, though. Chris Mad Dog Russo exploded over the situation.
Anybody, and this goes to John Dowd, whose Moby Dick is Pete Rose, if anybody thinks that what Rose did is equal to what the 1919 Black Sox did, you need your head examined. And how many times have you heard Jim Cott on this show, John Franco on this show, who Cott was the pitching coach, Franco was his ace in the bullpen. How many times have they told us on this show that I was with Pete when he was a manager, I pitched for Pete? Never once did I ever think there was something hanky-panky going on with using bullpen guys or leading starting pitchers in the game longer for his bet. Never once. The White Sox lost the World Series on purpose. Rose tried too hard. Now, did he have a gambling problem? We all know that. Is he a bad guy? We all know that. Should he have gambled? Absolutely not. But 35 years? Really? And then baseball is going to, hang on the fact, well, he can't hurt the legacy anymore because he's dead? What do you mean you can't hurt the legacy?
This stance has polarized fans and insiders. Some admire his boldness and demand for reform, while others remain skeptical given his own off-field controversies. Regardless, Bauer's question forces MLB and its fans to reckon with tough issues about justice, accountability, and the power dynamics within professional sports. Things get explosive with a bombshell report about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. The insider info reveals behind-the-scenes turmoil regarding the Bears' interest in the top quarterback prospect. Sources suggest there's a heated debate within the Bears' front office about committing to Williams, with concerns about his leadership style and how he'd fit into their current system. The report hints at potential clashes between coaching, staff, and management over draft priorities, exposing cracks in what was supposed to be a unified plan to rebuild the team. Fans are buzzing over the possibility that the Bears might pass on Williams, which could shake up the entire draft order and franchise future. This explosive insider scoop shines a light on the high stakes and drama of NFL draft season, where every decision can change a team's trajectory for years. Multiple industry insiders confirm that ESPN's hiring and promotion practices increasingly prioritize diversity and appearance over merit and on-air ability. Numerous ESPN talents, both black and white, have privately expressed frustration that performance is not the leading factor for job security or advancement. This shift has reportedly led to some questionable hires and on-air personalities whose expertise or presence fails to resonate with core sports fans. Andraya Carter's role as a diversity hire on ESPN's men's college basketball set has been criticized by some colleagues for a perceived lack of knowledge and confidence on the air. Contrary to ESPN's public claims, the network has faced declining subscriber numbers and Disney stock value drops in recent years. Despite claims that ESPN is fueling the growth of women's sports, the overall audience for the WNBA, college basketball, gymnastics, and volleyball has not translated into increased profits or subscriptions for the network. While ESPN frequently highlights increased fan engagement in women's sports, skeptics point out that the network's promotional efforts often feel performative and politically motivated, rather than organically driven by athletic excellence. Each host has faced their share of controversy. Elle Duncan, for example, was previously arrested for DUI in 2013, a fact often cited by critics. She has also been accused of spreading misinformation, including falsely claiming the existence of a Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. Andraya Carter's basketball credentials have been questioned, and her on-air behavior described as arrogant or lacking depth. Chiney Ogwumike, the less well-known of the trio, has not escaped scrutiny either, with critics calling out her social media activism over sports insight. ESPN is under pressure from Disney shareholders and the streaming market to innovate and retain subscribers. Vibe Check represents an attempt to capture younger, more socially conscious viewers by blending sports with cultural commentary. Burke Magnus, a senior ESPN executive, is reportedly fighting to hold on to his stock options and position amid declining ratings and internal shakeups. This environment influences programming decisions, often prioritizing trending topics over core sports content. ESPN's Vibe Check has received mixed reviews from the public and sports media critics. Many viewers find the show's emphasis on vibes and political messaging over sports analysis off-putting. The network's perceived inconsistent approach, claiming to oppose woke sports media while embracing similar tactics internally, has eroded trust among some segments of the audience. This backlash plays into ongoing debates about the role of politics in sports media. Caitlin Clark remains a rising star and a symbol of the evolving landscape of women's basketball. Despite criticism from some ESPN personalities, her impact on the game continues to grow, inspiring a new generation of players and fans. Women's sports are gaining visibility and respect, but the tension between commercial interests, political messaging, and athletic achievement remains a challenge. ESPN's approach with Vibe Check highlights these complexities as the network attempts to balance multiple, sometimes conflicting priorities. ESPN's launch of Vibe Check and the controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark underscore the shifting dynamics of sports media in 2025. Performance, talent, identity, and politics all intersect in ways that complicate the simple enjoyment of sports. Whether Vibe Check will succeed or further alienate viewers remains to be seen. What is clear is that ESPN is at a crossroads, navigating pressures from within and outside to redefine its role in a rapidly changing cultural environment. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more factual and balanced sports media analysis. Thanks for watching.